This morning, this ties in perfectly with what Krugman was writing about the maniacs, the brown shirts now, the fringe, the crazed, and these are supposed to be adult, male, white Republicans that we're going to play for you. They've taken over the Congress. When you hear this, you're going to hear grown adult men, all white, all Republican, all in the U.S. House, trying to stop women, also white, Democrats in the House, from stating their case, why they believe that health insurance reform is a good idea. The way it started out, the House this morning began consideration of the rule for debate of the House health care bill. And the Democratic Women's Caucus took to the microphone on the House floor to offer their arguments for how the bill would benefit women. And then this freak from Georgia, Tom Price, Republican representative from Georgia, Tom Price, and other Republicans, white males, repeatedly talked over, screamed, and shouted objections. I object, I object, I object, I object. Price just did it over and over as Representative Lewis Capps, a Democrat from California, tried to hold the floor. The Republicans continually talked over the Democratic women for half an hour. They sought to prevent the debate by calling for unnecessary so-called parliamentary inquiries and requests for, quote, expanding the debate by an hour. Among those repeatedly being interrupted by the Republican scum was Representative Mary Jo Kilroy, Democrat from Ohio, who observed, quote, do I not have the right to be able to continue my sentence without objections that are trying to censor my remarks here on the floor that I have a right to make as a member of this House? And John Dingell, the senile old bastard from Michigan, he's a Democrat and should have been removed, 50 years ago. He tried to talk trash with, not trash, but he tried to assuage the Republican ruckus with, the debate must be conducted with a measure of comity and grace and decency. There's no advantage to be achieved by making all this fuss, he told the Republicans. Listen to this. I'll play some of it for you. Just listen. This is the Republican Party, white adult males.
Mr. Speaker, I was just wondering if this was a stalling tactic by the majority party on delaying the vote on this important bill that will kill 5.5 million jobs today.
Chair, we'd hope the gentleman wouldn't object, but if he does, then it will be written on the record. The gentleman will state his objection here.
Object. I object.
To revise my remarks in support of reform.
Gentlewoman
Mr. Speaker, parliamentary inquiry.
Gentleman's out of order.
I must consent that my remarks to revise my remarks in support of reform that ensures that no mother will ever have her child's care denied because of a pre-existing condition.
Yep.
Mr. Speaker,
can you hold it? Can you stop it for just a second? Stop it just a second. Do you hear this son of a bitch? Do you hear these people? This particular son of a bitch is Tom Price. There's a member of Congress trying to make her point. She's not advocating anything. She's not entering an amendment. She's not trying to get a vote. She's just trying to state her case as part of the Women's Caucus. And this twit, this rat bastard in the background, repeating over and over, is a piece of white filth from Georgia, who is also representative. Go ahead, pick it up.
Colleagues, we're going to try and have a fair and orderly debate. The chair is going to remind my colleagues that every member has a right to place a unanimous consent request before the House.
All right. That's John Dingell. Listen to this moron trying to talk to these Republicans as though they're human. Now, I'm being very caustic and critical and nasty and name-calling about John Dingell. You're damn right. I don't care if he's a Democrat. He's a punk. So here he is trying to, play grab-ass with the Republican men. And Dingell, I guess, is so far into early-stage Alzheimer's or whatever the hell he's into, he doesn't realize that these white male Republicans aren't listening to a word he's saying. They don't give a damn. They're just waiting for the women to start talking again, and then they're going to try to shout them down.
Protect that right for the majority, And the chair is going to protect that right for the minority.
Yes.
And if delay occurs,
Yes.
this moment it appears to the chair that the delay occurs less on the chair's right than it does on the chair's left.
What?
The chair will observe that if the gentleman is concerned about speeding the business of the House can best be speeded by allowing the unanimous consent requests to be made.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ask unanimous consent
Speaker, reserving the right to object.
The gentleman will state his reservation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have reserved the right to object. Am I allowed to be heard under that reservation at this juncture?
The chair regrets cannot be done.
Now remember what's going on
What
here.
is happening?
What's going on here, every male voice you hear is a white man, Republican, trying to stop women, members of Congress, in the Women's Congressional Caucus from just stating their case.
For my dear friends, is we're getting ourselves into an unnecessarily deep parliamentary morass. If my colleagues on the chair's left would withhold these objections,
Mr. Speaker,
we would not be in this snarl at this time.
Parliamentary inquiry. Parliamentary inquiry, Mr. Speaker.
It is out of order. The chair recognizes now again the gentlewoman from New York who controls the time at this moment.
I ask unanimous consent to revise and extend my remarks in support of the Democratic bill.
Mr. Speaker, I object.
Mr. Speaker, parliamentary inquiry. Do I not have the right to be able to continue my sentence without objections that are trying to censor my remarks here on the floor that I have the right to make as a member of this House?
Objection is heard.
I ask unanimous consent again to revise and extend my remarks because...
I object.
Objection is heard.
I'd ask to be heard. Mr. Speaker, the Republicans are asking for an extension of an hour on both sides under the rule that would equally allow both sides 30 additional minutes to be heard, because it's obvious that members of Congress need to be heard. And this rule...
You hear this? Do you hear this? This is, what Krugman wrote this morning. This is the teabaggers. These are the neo-Nazis. These are the corporatists who now own what's left of this filthy, stinking Republican Party. And keep in mind what you're hearing. White males, mostly from the South, who are refusing to allow women members of Congress to speak. That's what they're doing.
Does not provide the amount of time necessary, and the people who are here is an example of why this is wrong.
Makes access to preventive services unaffordable. As a mother of four and a grandmother of three, I ask unanimous consent to revise and extend my remarks in support of the Democratic bill.
Mr. Speaker, because the Democratic bill gives women more opportunities to enter the medical professions and the modern healthcare workforce, I ask unanimous consent to revise and extend.
Now you have one female Republican, you hear her, trying to shout down a female Democrat.
My remarks in support of the Democratic bill. Because it's time to protect older women by closing the donut hole, I ask unanimous consent to revise and extend my remarks.
If members on one side of the aisle want their right protected, the chair observes that they should then respect the rights of members on the other side of the aisle. It will be the purpose of the chair to try and see that all members are heard at a proper time and fashion, and to see that the rules are carried out. The chair will also try to see that the debate is conducted with a measure of comedy and grace and decency. And the chair would request my friends on both sides of the aisle to respect that.
Inquiry, Mr. Speaker. Could we make a unanimous consent request to expand the debate?